Phil Carpenter, the owner of Phil Carpenter Custom Homes. I'm standing on the family farm of the Kostenbader family. About 10 years ago, I had the privilege of getting to know and to meet Lamar, Julie, and Caleb Kostenbader. They would open their farm to my kids' youth group, and they would have a huge bonfire and play capture the flag and have a hayride. And over the years that my kids were in youth group, they did this several times. About a year ago, God put on my heart that He wanted me to do something for the Kostenbader family. What He wanted me to do, I didn't know. I just know He wanted me to do something. But it doesn't matter because I didn't do anything about it. Life got busy, I got busy, and I actually forgot about it. About 4 months ago, I was sleeping in the middle of the night, and at 2:30, God woke me up and put on my heart that He wanted me to build the Kostenbaders a free home. You can imagine for the next 2.5 hours, I laid there, my mind's running, and I'm like, Lord, I love to build homes, but I don't build free homes. So over the next week, I decided to meet with one of my close friends who actually is friends with the Kostenbaders, and I ran what God put on my heart by him. And of course, he was super supportive and said, Phil, well, what do you need from me? I'm there. And I said, well, I need 2 questions answered from the Kostenbaders. 1, do they own their own land? And 2, do they have a mortgage? Later that night, I got a call back from Dwight. He said, Phil, I got good news and I got bad news. He said, the Kostenbaders do own the land, but they have a $100,000 mortgage. I'm like, wow. I said, Lord, you want me to build a free home and now they have a $100,000 mortgage that I'm gonna have to pay off? So over the next several weeks, I decided to meet with some of my close friends and advisors and mentors and share what God put on my heart. All of them were super supportive and told me, hey, we got your back, tell us what you need, we're there. The last person I decided to meet was my brother John, and I told him, I said, John, here's what God put on my heart, but I said, the Kostenbaders have a $100,000 mortgage. And I remember him telling me, Phil, who cares about the mortgage? If God put that on your heart, do you not think God can supply the money for a $100,000 mortgage? So over the next several weeks, I just tried to think in my mind how I can do this plan, but then Satan entered the picture and started filling my mind with doubts and fears and just every reason why I shouldn't do this project. And it was one Sunday night, we were sitting on the couch and we talked to my daughter every Sunday night, and we were talking to her, and she was been struggling with some issues at school. And I remember telling her, hey, you need to trust God and God's in control. And we hung up the phone, and I just remember being filled with God's conviction after that conversation. And the Lord was like, Phil, you're preaching to your daughter, you're telling your daughter all these good things about trusting the Lord, but you're not doing it. You're a hypocrite. So the next day I called Dwight. I said, Dwight, we're moving forward with the project. So I said, set up a meeting with the Kostenbaders and I'm gonna present my heart to them. So later that week, Dwight and I sat down with the Kostenbaders, and I was able to share my heart with them. And of course, there was a wide range of emotions. They had no clue this was coming. And I told them, I said, I don't need an answer now. I said, take time. I said, pray about it. I said, talk about it as a family. I knew the Kostenbaders were very private people. They're to themselves. They don't like a lot of attention. And I said, I'm gonna have to share your story online. I need to do that in order to promote this ministry that God put on my heart. I said, if you're not willing to do that, we can't move forward. About 4 days later, I got a voicemail from Julie Kostenbader, and she said, Phil, she said, our family has talked about it, we've prayed about it, and we're ready to move forward. So now you've heard my story and what God put on my heart for this project, but now I want you to hear from the Kostenbaders and hear their story. And once you hear that, I feel you'll feel the same passion that I had and why I feel God put this on my heart to do.